The bourse is down again today. Is it just profit takers?
Well, thank you, Finlay, for having me. Yes, basically, the bourse going down today can be attributed to the effect of profit takers. Like we've said in recent past, that the bull run might not be sustainable if a lot of liquidity does not come back into the market. And what we have seen today is a reflection of that. We believe that what has happened today has been a result of profit takers taking the recent profit that have been achieved in the recent past. You will realize that year to date, the market has gained about 10.6% in terms of growth. And this looks good for people who were burnt last year, and you expect that such profits will be taken.
Is liquidity still of concern on the stock exchange?
Well, liquidity is a massive concern. If you look at volumes being traded right now, you will see that as far as the Nigerian bourse is concerned, the problem is no longer value in terms of the stocks being traded. If you look at the market is reeking of value, especially in the banking stock, where you have the bank stocks trading at about 1-time book value. These were stocks that used to trade upwards of 2.5 times book value. And so that shows you that there's a lot of value in the market. It's not a problem of value, it's a problem of liquidity. Lots of the investments that we saw in the last 2 years were driven mainly by margin loans. Now these margin loans are no longer available, and so there's a liquidity crisis right now in the system.
Well, some analysts are seeing potential for a 40% rise in the Nigerian stock market, particularly from the banking sector. What is going to drive growth in the banking sector at this point in time?
Well, from where we see it, a 40% rise for this year might be very optimistic. Is it achievable? Yes, it might be achievable for some portfolios, but for the market as a whole, it might be difficult to achieve. But one of the things that would happen is we're waiting to see the results that will come out of the banks for the year ended 31st December 2009. And those results will go a long way to show what could happen in terms of the banking subsector of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. But in terms of the growth being expected in the market, except there is a critical action towards solving the liquidity problems, it will be difficult for some of these numbers being bandied to be achieved. We're looking at the formation of the asset management company by the CBN. Now, if the asset management company is able to take away some of the margin loans from the banks, free up their balance sheet, and provide some liquidity from the banks for which they can do some on-lending business, hopefully there will be some liquidity in the market, because the liquidity being seen from the foreign investors will not be enough to drive the market to where it used to be before.
Well, end of 2009, the index was 70% off its peak, making it one of the worst performing bourses last year. And local investors obviously are rather skeptical about the stock exchange currently. So what should be done to bring institutional investors back onto the market?
Well, like I said before, for the institutional investors, what they need would basically be liquidity and a way for the overhang of the credits from which they carry from the banks, because lots of the liquidity of the institutional investors were those that have taken loans from the banks, margin loans, and now those loans have basically gone bad. Now, if these loans are able, the issues concerning these loans are able to be sorted out, then you will see some of these institutional investors come back to the market. Howbeit, they will not come back to the market as bullish as they were before. It will be a situation where there will be better allocation of assets in terms of portfolio. But what we expect is that the people on the streets, the retail investors who actually made a good part of the market when the market rallied, can only come back when they see some confidence. But are they going to be the ones to drive the market? We do not think so. We think that it will be the institutional investors, the foreign investors, the pension fund administrators, the local asset managers and institutional investors are the ones that have what it takes to drive the market. And for them, it will be a combination of several things. How the banks will perform, how the companies that make up the most capitalized companies on the bourse will perform, how the AMC plays out, and then the general liquidity in the market, and then, of course, the political situations that have basically been taken care of.